This is Dr. Nicole Ellison. This is CIVE 305. And in this lecture, I'm going to continue talking about elevations, sections, and plan views. And I also want to review the first assignment that we spent the last few weeks on, which is the trash enclosure. And essentially, here's a photo of the trash enclosure. And what you're looking at is here are those right here. These are your CMU walls. Here's your slab. Here's the doors. Here's a bollard. A bollard is just typically concrete so that the truck won't run into it. And so what I gave you is an architect view of this, where the architect is essentially taking a cut right here. And they're showing you, they're looking down on it. So this is this right here. So this back wall is perhaps this wall right here. So this wall right here goes, continues on, and it's 20 feet long. And this little section right here of your wall is this one right here. So that's 6 foot, 8 foot long. And here you can walk in. So here you can walk in and put your trash in if you want. Because of the doors, you don't see here's the dumpsters right here. Here are those doors, and here's that bollard. And so we're looking down on it. We're making that cut through it. And so we're going to draw it again, you already have drawn it again. And you're not going to show the dumpsters, and you're not going to show the doors because you're going to be in charge of the structure. And the architect also has this section right here, right through here. So that's cut kind of in 3D. We're cutting through these walls, kind of like this, but we're doing a sideway cut. Maybe it'd be so that sideway cut is essentially cut right here, and here in that sideway cut we can see that. And so if we were to draw the dumpsters in, this might be a dumpster, and here's our slab, and here's our CMU wall. And in this section, we can see the height. So essentially what we're doing is we're taking this 3D, let me clean this up a little. So we have this 3D structure that we're trying to show in 2D, and we're going to do that by making a foundation plan and then also cutting a section. And in our assignment, we also decided that we wanted to put a roof on this, right? So the rain and things like that wouldn't get in. And so when we take that roof, when we make that roof plan, we're going to make the cut up here, and we're going to show it in a separate plan, because if we showed it all on the same plan, for example, if I started drawing the roof in here, and I started drawing the purlins, and I started drawing the beams, it's going to be difficult to read because there's going to be too much information. So let's look at our sample exam. So we have the Mulberry house, or whoever it is, and we have this existing house. So right here, this is our existing house. And I've told you that this is an 8-inch CMU wall. And I've said that wall is 10 feet long. And I can't remember how tall I told you it was. But let's say it's 10 feet tall too, for this example. And I said, you've got some extra money, and you or they have some extra money, you've been hired to design and draw this sunshade for the backyard. And so here you're going to put a slab on grade in. Again, that's just a slab on soil, and that's going to be 10 feet by 10 feet. And you're going to put this wood structure in, and this is your wood structure. And wood structures, we went through a masonry structure, a concrete masonry unit structure, and we have concrete footings. And now I'm introducing wood, which is common in residential construction. And typically the way we call wood out is in inches. So this is if I say it's a 6 by 6, it's actually 6 inches, if I were to draw it in plan, by 6 inches. So this is really 6 by 6. And so it's a 6, and it's wood. So that's wood. And these here are our purlins. They're also beams, but there's just more of them, and they're at 2 feet on center. So this distance here is 2 feet. And those purlins, I think I said they're 2 inches. I think I said 2 by 6. So they're 2 inches wide by 6 inches deep. And technically, by the time you cut them, they're a little bit smaller. But if you want to draw them exactly at 2 by 6, that's fine. By the time we plane it, it's actually going to be under 2 inches and under 6 inches. But you can definitely draw it as 2 by 6. And then I think I said here, those are being supported by this beam right here. So here we have a beam, and I think I said it was 4 by 8. So if I drew that beam, this beam is 8 inches deep, and it has a thickness of 4 inches. So I drew that right here. It's not really shown that fat here, but it essentially is 4 inches wide by 8 inches deep. And that beam wants to span from column to column, and it's going to carry these purlins that are 2 foot on center. So in order to show this in this 3D, I want to draw, essentially, I want to take a bunch of sections. So I'm going to take a section cut right here. And this is going to be my floor plan, or my foundation plan. And here I'm going to show the columns. I'm going to show the slab. And I'm also, as the engineer, I want to show my foundations, which I want to bear, I think they were 2 feet below. I want them to go down and bear down on my soil below, so that as the frost affects the soil, it's going to bear lower. And I also have this wall. I have a continuous footing on this wall. So if I can draw that in 3D, maybe. And that essentially, I think I said, was 16 inches wide, and it's 12 inches deep. And these footings are square. If I try and draw those in 3D. And they're 2 feet by 2 feet by 12 inches thick. So let's start with our floor plan. So let's draw this in black. So I told you, and sometimes it is easier just to draw it in on paper before you hop on the computer. So this is my 10-foot long wall. It's masonry, and it's 8 inches thick. So I'm looking down on it. And I also have a slab in here. This is a slab. This is my slab on grade. And I told you it's 10 feet by 10 feet. So it's 10 feet. So if I were to hatchet my concrete, it's 10 feet by 10 feet. Now, I didn't tell you where the columns are. So if you put your columns out here, that would not be wrong. I didn't tell you. So you're going to have to make an assumption. But I'm going to put my columns inside the slab here. And this is my 6-inch by 6-inch column. I have 2 of them. And I'm going to dash my footing in. So here's my footing. So it's 2 foot by 2 foot. And then I'm going to label everything. Copy that over here. So here's my footing, 2 foot. And it's 12 inches thick. And this is my 8-inch CMU wall. These are my 6 by 6 columns. Clean this up a little bit. And at some point, I'm going to need to tell the contractor what this dimension is. So maybe I'm going to make this dimension 8 feet. And maybe I'm going to also have to give the contractor and say, okay, this is going to be, I don't know, 1 foot 6, whatever I want it to be. So this is kind of a rough sketch of your foundation. Of course, when you're drawing it in AutoCAD, you're gonna give it a title, and you're gonna put a scale on it. I will, for your title block, I will keep your title block to 8.5 by 11, so that way you can reuse your title block, and that's not something you have to remake on your test. And you do want to have a north arrow. Want to have all your dimensions. So now let's pause there, and in the next video I'll come back and we'll work on the roof plan and the section.